bad backgrounds. I got the whiteboard here.
I was gonna make a joke about that in just a bit. Actually, once you get the show started.
All right, we start now. All right, Earnestly podcast here. Big Jim. Oh wait, no. We don't do that again. Kyle Nash the game. Big Jim. James Nies with us. I don't want to get Kyle fucking bent out of shape out.
No, listen, all I'm asking for is to be paid to the celebrity on the fucking show. I'm just a guy, okay? You want to know what the shorthand for the Jacksonville football team and I have in common? We're just Jags, okay? Period. End of story. Okay. By the way, speaking of things that are a little out of place, like me being at the last one to be introduced, which I wasn't this week, and thank you for that.
You're welcome,
Julius. Are you like a national security threat or something? What were you broadcasting from a fucking basement? What the shit?
Well,
got a damn black hat. Are you a spy?
In my closet, which is really an office, but no, the wife actually said she'll help me design it, hopefully soon.
Good, man. Yeah. You got to work on it, man. I mean, I had to go from just regular backdrops to ring lighting and backlighting and all of that. This has been an adventure this year.
Well, you're
making me feel underdressed right now with your shit. I thought I was good.
I'll put this on camera real quick. Kyle, you'll appreciate this. My Dr. Cox Funko Pop here.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not done yet.
Irene.
I'm not done yet.
Turkleton. Put that down.
That's right. It's my wife's and I's favorite TV show. So.
No, hey, anyway. Scrubs is a great show, and for all the trash I give her about liking cats, she is now rescued, knowing that she called Scrubs her favorite.
Do you still have an issue with our podcast name that we're about to relaunch again very soon?
No, I mean, listen. First of all,
Christian.
I think it's a dumb name, but anything that gets the real star of the family, Lauren Christian, on the air is a win for America.
Yes. I always tell that, I have notes here for the show today, but I feel like I'm not going to use the notes much.
Like, listen, you and James Lipton, like, you have like a card of notes this high, but you don't need them.
Well, Jim, let me ask him real quick. Hey, Kyle, how did you enjoy your Rumble on Sunday?
I was probably napping when I should have been golfing.
Oh, golf.
By the way,
you can't see golf courses where I'm at right now.
By the way, John Cena did not
buried under 10 inches of frozen bullshit.
Hey, the only reason why I'm talking about golf, the only reason I took up golf was the pandemic. It's fucked us all up, gentlemen. Moving on.
Serious?
Yeah, I would have never, like, golf's an old people sport. I have no business doing it, or I want no part of it. And then I'm like, I had a neighbor of mine in the neighborhood. He was like, hey, you ever been golfing? No. Want to go with me sometime? I mean, I can't do pickup football anymore. I'm 40 and it's a goddamn pandemic, So
I just do a podcast. Fuck that.
I love golf, man.
You golf?
Oh my God! A couple of summers ago, well, between like March and November, which is your general golfing season in Pennsylvania. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's wintertime and you hit like a 30-degree day where it's sunny, I'm gonna get my fat ass out on the golf course. But from March till November, which is general golf season, I think one year I played like 58 rounds.
I guess the question is,
I took days off work. I played doubles on a weekend.
Nice.
Then my wife reeled me back in, and usually I get in about 30 rounds a year. Now this year I didn't play as much because we've been as extra cautious as possible with the pandemic, because I haven't unfortunately worked in almost a year. So
hashtag fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. We've been super cautious about it, but I long for the day I get back out there.
Yeah, no, I'm in the unfortunate situation that when I did get laid off, I found another job quickly, and the job I got laid off from paid a copious amount of money to tell me to get the fuck out. So, okay, I got lucky. I'll be honest. Leave it at that.
So, well, Kyle, you're back to work though, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, remember, we're Florida, so it's like the pandemic doesn't even exist here. We're just back to normal. More or less.
Yeah, my brother lives in St. Pete, so I get the play-by-play on Florida.
You have never seen me drop, hey, how's the weather, schmack talk, because I am not going to anger the gods like that.
Yeah, I totally get it. I'm just the same boat as you. I guess talk some football a little bit.
You sure?
I guess there's a game. I guess this weekend.
It's a game, a game of football at where WrestleMania will be in 2 months after that.
That's true.
That is a big fat hairy deal, though, no doubt.
Yeah, of course. But before we talk about the game,
yes,
still stories around the game that had nothing to do with the game. You guys saw that Brett Favre comment on Deshaun Watson and his situation in Houston? Brett Favre wanted to weigh in on Deshaun Watson's situation just because he's Brett Favre.
Yeah, I mean, could he not? First off,
wait, before I do that, what I probably should do is read the quote real quick that stood out.
Please.
To give listeners an idea what we're talking about in case they don't know about what was said.
Now, and in fairness, too, Favre was asked a question. It's not like he just said, listen, right here.
Right, well, yeah. It wasn't like an unsolicited opinion, but
it was still kind of unsolicited, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, I wrote a piece about it in my blog yesterday about it.
You right?
I was kind of heavy on him. I'm not gonna lie, maybe a little biased because of my, I don't know. Me and Kyle have a thing where we don't think Brett Favre is a top 10 quarterback all time. So just saying. But here's a quote that rose the ire of myself and many others, and I'll get you guys' take on this. Quote: "I'm kind of old school. You get paid a ton of money to do a certain job, and just do it and let the chips fall where they may. I think we make too much money to voice an opinion, but I'm not saying he's wrong. I think it's a different day and time, and it'll be interesting to see how the organization handles it." Like I said, I wrote a piece on my blog, earnestly.net, of course. Like I said, I'm a free speech absolutist. You can say what the fuck you want. There's, freedom of speech doesn't mean you are absolved of consequences, of course. I just think that what he said was kind of tone deaf. Given the climate today. And you know me, I'm Mr. Free Speech. Kyle, we discussed this for years. I see your face getting a little. By the way, we're on Skype together today. So.
Tone deaf like what exactly? Because from my point of view, and this is just me, you don't have to agree with me, fellas.
Okay.
I'm more insulted by your System of a Down t-shirt than I am Brett Favre.
What's wrong with System of a Down t-shirt?
System of a Down is a band that makes me cry because they should be amazing, but I can't stand their lead singer. His voice makes me want to throw shit.
Surge?
You heard me. Did I stutter, fool? Hey, you said free speech absolutist, mother.
What was gonna kill you?
Yeah, I got some Orville Redenbacher from my dude. Wait, why are you eating invisible popcorn? Did you know one from the
It's upstairs. I'm in the caverns here at the estates.
I mean, thanks to us going 40 minutes over on Beyond the Buzzer, you could have made it at some point, partner.
I just got done with 3 count, my man.
Good point.
2 hours of 3 count.
By the way, love the way we put in the shameless plugs on your show. But anyways, listen.
I love podcast on Tuesdays.
To hilarity by default as well. Here's the thing. I think this is a lesser version of people going after Drew Brees too much for his comments back a while back. Now, the good news is, to my understanding, I have not yet seen a meme of Brett Favre in a Klan hood, so I guess that's a positive. But what I'm trying to say is this, gentlemen. Favre's situation, everybody who's calling Favre a hypocrite needs to pump the brakes a bit. The difference between Favre and Deshaun Watson, and even in his quote, if you read it in its entirety, he says, and I quote, "I'm not saying he is wrong in what he's trying to do." But the difference with Favre and Deshaun Watson, because Watson's right to do what he's doing, is that Favre, when he left, knew that they had a guy who we now have dubbed the middle name treatment, Aaron Charles Rodgers. We knew that was a thing. He knew that was a thing. And the reason why Favre was had so much animosity towards him is 2 reasons. A, Rodgers is a cocky dude. And B, the dude actually is talented and was going to be something special. Say what you will about Favre. He knew it, all that other stuff. Him getting traded to the Jets was more about ire he was getting from the front office and kind of in general towards fans with the way he was trying to decide whether to retire or not. Which, hey, listen, I'm not trying to defend Brett Favre. All I'm trying to say is when Favre left, the value of the Green Bay Packers as a goddamn franchise wasn't going to go down. Meanwhile, when Deshaun Watson, whose middle name we may eventually learn if he keeps playing like he's playing.
I'm on it.
Is going to leave the Texans in just a complete shambles. To this point, help me, guys, with who the second best quarterback for the Texans is. The correct answer is whoever they trade Deshaun for, even though they say they're not trading him, that includes a quarterback in the deal, okay? Because beyond that, I've made this point before on this and other shows. Who is it? TJ Yates?
I was going to guess Matt Schaub. I figured he was
on the list.
He was still quarterback there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, which, by the way, Matt Schaub was an excellent backup for Michael Vick. Somebody tested him, and they weren't wrong to do so. There was a better choice than, say, Brock Osweiler. But I say all that to say this. To call Favre a hypocrite to this situation is a bad comparison. But to imply that he was somebody who just let the chips fall, granted he was over a decade in at that point, and it's a little different. Let's not go too. And he did try to correct by saying, hey, I don't think he's wrong. He needed to hit that harder and double down on that point more than the fact that they get paid so much money for the game.
Right.
I think for me, like I'm not. I don't think I was as mad as some people are over what he said, but I think it's just it's connected, and I think we're gonna hit on another one of these things where, like, this notion of, like, just because you're paid to do something and you're paid to be in a position doesn't mean you're not allowed to be unhappy about it, doesn't mean you're not allowed to speak up about it, doesn't mean you're not allowed to want more, want better. Like Deshaun Watson, I mean, we know that he's extremely talented. I don't know if we understand how good he is because of this situation with the offensive line and the coaching staff and the way the team's been managed. Like, my brother and I talked about this similarly on Huddle Up on Tuesday, because the number of people with terrible Matt Stafford takes since that trade went through has been astounding. Because I'm like, is he the best quarterback of all time? No, but I'm like, if you don't understand that Matthew Stafford greater than symbol Jared Goff, and it is a upgrade at that position, you can argue if that they overspent. Like that's a whole separate situation. But like, the disrespect on Matt Stafford is astounding. And I'm like, he was in with a team that has been horribly run for decades. And the Texans are a horribly run organization and have been for a very long time. So I have no problem with Deshaun Watson speaking up and saying, like, you know, I want to be traded. Like, do I think if he doesn't get traded that Watson's going to not show up and perform? Absolutely not. I don't think that's who Deshaun Watson is.
I don't either.
If he's a Houston Texan, he's going to play, and he's going to play the way he always has. But there's nothing wrong with him saying, I want out of here. Like, you know, it's kind of been a week of like, last couple of weeks of like old dudes just playing like the old dude card, because like the Undertaker was on. Like, Undertaker was on Joe Rogan and is like, you know, back in my day, guys used to carry guns and beat the hell out of each other in the locker room, and these guys are soft. And then Goldberg.
By the way, that's a topic for Take 3 this Saturday. My topic for Take
nice.
3. Take topic.
And then like Bill Goldberg's like, yeah, what he said, and then Jim Ross is like, yeah, what he said, and I'm like, are you like? Just because guys aren't like shanking each other in locker rooms doesn't mean they're softer now. Like, we're okay having video games and not like beating the piss out of each other for no reason. Doesn't mean we're not tough. It just means like we're probably smarter than you. And like, if something isn't right, like if something isn't right, we're gonna like speak up about it. Like, that's okay to do. And I think that's all Watson's doing. So it's just like, it's a generational thing, you know, and so Favre is Favre, and It is what it is.
To that point, though, Jim, there's another extreme. Like, there's, get off my lawn take. And then on the other side, there are people who are then trying to make it a political thing and to say, oh, well, here's privileged Brett Favre versus the black quarterback. I'm like, oh, Christ, color's not even a factor.
I acknowledge that too, but it's a reach. I agree, it's a reach. But I'm saying, though, the reason why it's something that you have to at least keep back your mind, though, is because of the climate we're in now. That's why.
See,
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it is what it is.
And is it partially too because Brett Favre was an open Trump supporter?
Well, I mean,
like,
you can use that as an angle. I'm not going to. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't
I'm not saying you, but I think there's people who have already been mad at Brett Favre this year in the last year because of that. Because he's golfed with Trump and he's a Trump dude. Not that anybody should be surprised that, how old's Favre now? 71, 73, something like that.
From a particular part of the country, et cetera,
he's a Southern old white guy. Like, and I'm not saying that all Southern old white guys are all Republicans, but like,
there's a demo.
Kyle's Southern white guy.
Yeah, I'm not even a white guy apparently.
He's tan.
So. And like, I mean, to the Undertaker on Joe Rogan, I'm like, the guy's a 50-plus-year-old Texan. Like, not that I'm justifying it, but like, sometimes old people from where they are say old people things from where they are.
I think it's more about the fact that people also see Brett Favre even without knowing if he's a Trump supporter. Like, I didn't know that, but you said it, and I'm like, okay, it fits. And I think people make that assumption on Twitter, and then assume the worst of Brett Favre. I mean, listen, I'm not fond of his play, but, and there's been some off-the-field conduct with reporters in the East Rutherford area that probably was wildly inappropriate. I get it.
Right.
But I don't think race came into play in his comments at all.
No.
Actually, I don't think he's that intelligent to go there in his head.
Right.
That's just me.
It's too easy also to use race as the elixir. But the thing is, though, because again, not to repeat myself again, but because of the climate, it's already in play for discussion. Not saying it's right to be, but
it's going to be play for some people, right? For the rest of us that are actually, not smart. Racist, it doesn't, or smart, Well, not racist and smart are actually the same thing, if you ask me, Ernest Christian.
True.
Yeah, and like here's the thing, like, do I think that race had anything to play with it? I do not. But also, I'm a white male. I'm a middle class white male. So, and
that doesn't mean I'm allowed to have an opinion, though, Big Jim.
No, I'm not saying I shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion, but in the same time, like, if somebody's being treated a certain way and has been for a long time. And in a way that's not okay, that there are going to be receptors, and not just in a race situation, because like, if somebody's been in an abusive relationship, man or woman, like if anything like raises, we've seen like when cats get on edge and the hair stands up, like if there's any of those situations that kind of trigger those emotions, then like I'm not necessarily going to fault somebody for feeling that way, but. I don't know if we've talked about it on here or EJ, if you and I have talked about it, and I know you've talked about it on solo pods and things, but like there's a fine line between feeling an emotion and cancel culture. And you always kind of have to watch that line. Like,
yes, sir.
So it's okay to be mad at Favre and not like what he said about Watson. And even if your personal receptors go up about something, that's okay. But like this isn't something that Brett Favre should be canceled over. This was maybe something that he could have answered a question differently, but we have to be careful how we toe lines.
Or it's energy that's being wasted on getting Chad Wheeler the hell in jail.
Or that, yeah. Let's do that.
That's another story. I
didn't want to touch that. Put his ass in jail. Just saying.
Right. Like, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, I remember the outrage about Ray Rice. I have not seen the same treatment the other way. And I get it.
to be fair, in the interest of fairness, as the guy who came out and said, off the cuff, fuck Chad Wheeler.
Yep.
By the same token, I know why there's not as much press. A, he's a lineman. His name is already less known. B, there's not video.
True.
C, TMZ Sports is not constantly replaying it in your face. And finally, I don't like Ray Rice. Actually, this part I can't account for. Seattle, you would think in a place like Seattle that is so social justice oriented that this would be a bigger deal. That part confuses me, I'll be honest. But the other...
I could be E. I have an E for you. E? He's a backup lineman.
That's a great point, Ernest Christian. Well played.
A very good point.
Just say
I'll replace what I was going to say. That's my D, because I thought geography was a factor there, but yeah, Seattle, step your fucking game up, Seattle, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
anyway.
Bottom line is put the motherfucker in jail.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. What is it with old guys?
That was a great tag team, by the way, from the wrestling guy. I appreciate that. That was awesome.
What is it with old guys weighing in on quarterbacks this week? You had, of course, Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And now you have Carson Palmer weighing in on Dak Prescott's situation. But I got to say, reading the quotes thoroughly, I kind of see his point.
First off, I want the record to show reading quotes thoroughly puts you ahead of about 85% of the reading public.
Absolutely.
By the way, 47% of statistics are completely made up. Moving on.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite games to play.
Yeah, Kyle, the data guy.
I love that. I always love it. Usually the number I use is 86.2% of statistics are made up on the spot.
So basically, real quick. So
I was staring at my John Lynch jersey when I said it. 47.
What'd you say?
I was staring at my John Lynch jersey when I said it. 47.
Oh. So basically, Carson Palmer said, in such words. I mean, it's a big quote here. I want to go through the whole thing real quick though. That Dak Prescott shouldn't take max money because he's a Dallas Cowboy. And you know what? He's kinda right. Sorta. Like,
yeah,
I would never say to do that. It's not my money. I don't like talking about other people's money. But he has a point. His point of that actually makes sense. There is clout of being a Dallas Cowboy quarterback by default because they're the fucking Dallas Cowboys. Big Jim, you know this. Come on now.
Says the Patriots fan.
Well,
I mean,
what the fuck? I mean, seriously.
He's getting the popcorn.
I am never living this down, ever.
He's got his helm.
There we go. But seriously, he has a point there because by default, Dallas Cowboys do get an extra look-see because they're the Cowboys. They're the sexiest team in football, arguably in sports. They always get eyeballs.
I mean, they're the most valuable.
They're hated unrationally at times, or most of the time. So there is truth to that. You can make money outside of just being the quarterback because you're just a Dallas Cowboy. So Carson Palmer's point makes way more sense than Brett Favre's.
Yeah, and he's right and he's not right at the same time. And I mean, I've tried to take this approach with Cowboys fans because there's some friends of mine that don't think Dak is worth even, anything above, I think, like 31, 32. So I get what he's saying because, there's endorsement potential. There's post-career potential with, we see with Aikman and Romo and, almost every analyst team has a former Dallas Cowboy or a Dallas Cowboy quarterback on the board. So, yeah, it's the position, but in the same time, I mean, we look at what happened this year. Dak, they can't get him under contract. He plays a handful of games and his foot almost snaps clean off his body. So the thing I say is, should he necessarily go for high end money? Well, it's kind of a hard call because you're coming off of that injury, and by all accounts, he should be 100%. But sometimes injuries change guys. So I think the Cowboys have a little leverage on that front. But I also don't think he should take like bottom of the barrel money, just assuming that there's going to be endorsements, there's going to be this, because we know, I mean, anything can change in a moment's notice on a single play in the National Football League. So I think there has to be some sort of middle ground. And this is what I've said with the Cowboys need to do is they need to be smart and get him under contract. But there needs to be a middle ground there. And I don't necessarily, when I saw the headline, and again, that's the difference between headline reading and digging into it, because I was like, man, what a dumb thing to say. And then you dig into it, it's like, I do get what he's saying, but he shouldn't take the highest money, because first off, the Cowboys have a lot of big contracts, and they want this team to succeed long versus short. But in the same time, you also have to gamble on yourself a little bit. So if the Cowboys don't want to get it done and Dak does end up wanting to go elsewhere, then I can't fault them either. Like, I love Dak. I want him as my quarterback. But, it's business. It's 100% business.
I'm with you, too. And I mean, listen, the only reason why Dak Prescott hasn't won a playoff game is for one reason and one reason alone in 3 words. 4 words. Aaron Charles fucking Rodgers. Okay? If this cat doesn't drop a play in the dirt and make that shit happen, I'm right, Jim. That's a playoff win for Dak. Okay? And if I remember the opponent correctly, I'm under the impression that he could have won the next game. Okay? Especially with that line in the day. What's that?
The Frocons.
Anyways, so
moving on.
So with that in mind, here's the other reason that was lightly touched on, lightly sprinkled over, but not really hit home. You retained Amari Cooper, which is fine, by the way. I have no problem with that, but have basically no one else. What we've come to find out is that Cole Beasley is a good second or third option. And by the way, if you haven't noticed that before as a Dallas Cowboy, which I believe you have, Jim, you are a smart Cowboy fan, a pair of words that are not normally put together. I digress.
Smart and emotional.
Definitely emotional.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's more on the fanhood part than the Cowboy part, let's be honest. But, I have a feeling.
I don't blame them, though. The Cowboys are so fucking,
that's basically what I'm saying. I mean, just like you're feeling pain about, you can relate to Jim about unexplained hate and painful seasons as a Patriots fan, certainly in this season, right, EJ? So anyways, I'm such an ass. No, but the part that we've lightly tickled the ivories on is, if you haven't recognized Cole Beasley, and for those who need a reference, at 185 years old compared to Tom Brady's 567, he's a third or fourth man in the best Buffalo Bills receiver core in the franchise's history and doing great things, okay?
Wait. Better than Andre Reed and James Lofton?
Did I stutter, bitch?
Slow your fucking roll.
Slow your roll, Patriots fan. No, I only gave you flack because I actually talked about this on Haps. But
I saw that.
Oh, you did see that. So yes, the reason why I say that is, can you please name the elite Hall of Fame level running back that is in Buffalo right now?
Not named Kenneth Davis? That's Thurman Thomas. Come on now.
No, I said right now.
Oh, right now. Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, in other words,
there isn't one.
But thank you. Big Jim for the win.
I totally get it.
So, yeah, over and above having the support of a Hall of Fame caliber effing running back, and you're going to try to say at this stage in the game that Josh Allen is as good as Jim Kelly? I didn't know this was that kind of pop. Why are we talking about Tokyo Jameson?
Who's even saying that? That's like, no. Not only that, Jim Kelly's my second favorite quarterback of all time.
Right. So my point is, this receiver core is that goddamn good to get numbers that are better than that receiver core when they had all that extra help.
Diggs was great this year. He was saying at one point MVP caliber.
August.
You
August.
did.
That's
on
when
this
I said
show. On this here show.
It was one of many shows I said it because I'm a cocky bitch. That's not the point.
I'm just saying on this show. I can only claim it here.
You know? Oh yeah, no, and I respect you claiming your territory as you did. I'm telling you it happened other places too. Danny Thompson will tell you constantly that I said it on Beyond the Buzzer multiple times. You know. Anyways, you can't get a receiver core like that if you're paying Dak and you're paying Cooper and you're paying Zeke and you're paying now age-ridden offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they've had to cut a few as sacrifice to the fiscal gods. Your boy Thomas Edward Bieber Brady, the quarterback that threatened your marriage, EJ, is doing the same thing. The same thing in his life, in his professional career. Has he ever taken the max contract? Nope. He's relying on that side money. And the funny thing about TB and the whole TB12 thing, if you really look at it, Brady doesn't have a lot of endorsements. But Dak, I think, is a lot more endorsable guy. I think he should do, like, just to mention another quarterback of color that was greatly successful in commercials until his injury situation and stuff went down with the Panthers. Cam Newton in the Dannon commercials was awesome. Yeah. Dak needs Dannon or something like it. And to prevent the problem you're talking about, Jim, of it happening or there being an injury that could cause a problem, get a good talent agent to lock that ish up this offseason. That way, if something goes down, he can claim the Charlie Sheen defense on stage. Dude, I already got your money.
Plus, let's be real, Dak's a chick magnet.
Well, he is.
My wife thinks he's good looking. I don't want.
Oh no, I'm not saying he's not. But what I am saying is, I mean, I don't know if you want to. Well, I don't know what you're trying to sell with that necessarily. But what I am trying to say is, maybe perfume. I don't know. But yeah, that's. I mean, then that way you're talking about post career stuff, like at that point. Which, by the way, so then at that point, not only is he a Dallas Cowboy quarterback, if he gets more weapons, he would be a division-winning quarterback. He would be a multiple postseason quarterback. Mm-hmm. Then he could start building a resume to be a late in life Hall of Fame quarterback, because when he becomes a personality in a booth somewhere, that instantly boosts you to become a Hall of Famer, whether you should be or not. And do you have any idea the revenue that comes for a human being with all of that? There's a reason why the jacket is gold, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That. I like that.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're good enough at it, there's a lot of money in that broadcasting booth. I'm looking at you, Antonio Romo.
Oh, listen.
That man is making money.
Anybody who does not like Tony, first of all, I love the part where he's
They're
making
wrong.
more a year than Cam Newton as a Panthers quarterback in a particular season. But I digress. Right. Anybody who doesn't like Tony Romo in the booth, you're doing it wrong.
Is wrong. Up. Yeah, I mean, that was like, you know, that when he first retired and went to CBS, and then there was like, well, what if a team offers it? I'm like, are you kidding me? Nobody's offering him the CBS money, and also he doesn't have to get hit anymore.
Amen.
That man is beat up. That Cowboys team sacrificed him with terrible offensive line and bad defenses.
And still somehow has fewer concussions than Troy Aikman, but I digress.
Well, that's true.
You want to spend 2 minutes on these Andrew Luck return rumors?
He's not coming back.
I don't think so either.
Let me put it this way. This is like
2 minutes.
Yeah, in 2 minutes. You guys seen A Few Good Men, right? You know, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Markinson, the guy who disappears.
What's your sound drop?
Markinson's gone. Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking about Colonel Nathan R. Jessup. Okay. You've realized you're a Pats fan on this episode. We don't have to bring that out. You're handling the truth right now.
That's right.
All right. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Markinson, played by J.T. Walsh, not Nicholson.
Okay.
Is the counterintelligence guy. He's gone. Did you even know Andrew Luck started a family? F it. With that beard, I assumed he had one already. Okay? He started a family. He's doing married life. When's the last feature you even seen on Andrew Luck? And all of a sudden, some text message drops out of nowhere. Do you think he'd be that sloppy to let that happen? Stop it. Moving on.
Who was text from? Or who was a text to?
So, according to what I saw on the Pat McAfee show, cutting edge journalism, by the way.
I love the show though. It's a good
Oh
show.
no, it's a great show, and he even acknowledges it.
NXT baby.
I knew y'all guys would know about McAfee, but like I always take issue with a punter that runs his mouth quite like that. But what's different with McAfee is he's not like my punter on my semi-pro team who was like all of 5'9", 5'10", maybe. Like McAfee's actually could be a real football player if he was so inclined. But I digress. According to what they put up there, it was a husband of a wife of a friend of Andrew Luck's wife's best friend. Do you need a whiteboard for this connection?
Yeah. It might.
Don't roll your eyes at me, EJ. You're the one who said we need to talk about this shit.
I said
Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
2 minutes up already.
I'm already done. I said he's not.
You know what this is? This is the brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, wife's former roommates.
I'll put it this way. I've told EJ this. I don't know if Kyle, if we've talked about it, but my wife and I through quarantine have gone back and been watching old sitcoms, and we're currently working our way. We went through step by step. We are now working through Family Matters. And
by the way, we have company here, just for the record. My little youngest son just woke up. Keep talking.
Yes.
We're now working our way through Family Matters, and there was an episode today. It was the episode where Maxine's boyfriend dumps her, and Waldo wants to ask her out, so they play pass down the line. So it went from Maxine to Laura, Laura to Steve, Steve to Eddie, Eddie to Waldo, and every time the story morphs a little bit.
You don't mean Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo.
Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo.
Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo.
I love that name. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So good. But like that's exactly how it happens. As things work through the chain, you know, the story changes, and that's what happened here. Andrew Luck's not coming back. He may end up as a coach one day, a positions, quarterback coach, something, but he's not coming back to play. It's really a non-story.
Yeah, I agree. And we spent 4 minutes on this fucking topic.
I tried to end it in 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, we got to talking about Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo, and the shit was on.
By the way, the character that plays Maxine is supposed to come on this podcast soon because we have a mutual friend, Mark Francois, actually is friends with her. Well, sort of friends with her on social media.
That's awesome.
And he actually asked her, Sherry Johnson, by the way, is her name, asked her to come on the show. So we're supposed to set something up soon.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
She's also, and not just saying that because you mentioned
too. She's on Punky Brewster also.
No kidding.
Both the old one and the new reboot.
Okay. All right.
So if folks watching this on YouTube, you notice my son here is just woke up from his slumber. So, family life still goes on regardless of whether I'm doing a podcast or not.
Hey, listen, all I know is that as I put my son to bed last night and he slept the whole night.
Yeah.
He's 20 months, by the way. That's
and what's funny is that with him, like Lauren can't do it. She's not really he doesn't sleep with Lauren, only for me. It's weird. Daddy's touch. I don't know.
It is what it is.
I don't know. What else?
Next up on this, DJ Christian.
Oh, one more thing before we get to Super Bowl preview.
Yes.
You wanted to touch on something on Eric Bienemy.
I did.
Why?
Very simply put, throughout the social medias, I've heard calls of, why on earth doesn't Eric Bienemy have a job? These NFL owners are racist and all this other stuff. Now, granted, there's plenty of shenanigans going on with the hiring NFL coaches. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But why is it no one stopped to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, a man who's smart enough to construct an offensive plan on par and incongruous with Andy Reid, with Patrick LeVon Mahomes II at quarterback, isn't smart enough to look at a damn dumpster fire when he sees one? Maybe the reason he didn't interview well or hasn't interviewed with teams is because he doesn't effing want to. What if, and I can't take credit for this one, but this is Bobby Blackjack, my producer on Beyond the Buzzer, who floated this, and I thought it was interesting. What if the Kool-Aid Man himself, Andy Reid, after winning back-to-back at what should have been back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls when your boy Thomas Edward Brady threw that interception to lose the game, but somebody was lined up offsides. That's right, I said it. Handle the truth, EJ. Nathan R. Jessup calling. See, that was the one you were looking for. Yeah. Maybe, moreover, above that, it's possible he's waiting for that Super Bowl win to happen to take over the Kansas City head coaching job himself. Because at the end of the day, what really lands this was some fine work by my good friends at the three-point conversion, in particular, Karita Parks, actually.
Okay.
We all know Raphael Haynes, who doesn't understand that Russell Wilson's a game manager, but I digress, was talking to Eric Bienamy, talked about the black head coaching situation and his hiring situation and all that. And he said something with the key phrase, the right opportunity. Gentlemen, the man himself has confirmed my theory by using those words, has he not?
Andy Reid's not getting any younger. Maybe Bienemy is Josh McDaniels, sort of.
Except, talented. Oh, shots fired, Belges. Sorry, I didn't mean to go after your team like that, EJ.
It's okay. Go fire away.
Dang.
Jim, what do you think about that one, that angle from Kyle?
Yeah, I think Kyle brings up really good points. I mean,
you don't have to agree. Just consider it. That's all.
No, I think it's a great point. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily, like, yes, the NFL has problems and the NFL needs to address things in a different manner. But I think that just using one coach as the example, the prime example to make an argument isn't necessarily the right choice. And unfortunately, you're never going to be able to ask him that question until he's retired. You know what I mean? like I don't think you can go to him and be like, hey, did you want these jobs? And you want to be like, no, so like, it's one of those things where, like, we're never really going to know the answer. Like when I talk about like things in wrestling, I always joke that, 10 years from now, we'll be able to finally hear something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard on what happened in 2020.
What happened when?
And even as a non-wrestling fan, I effing love those interviews, by the way.
Like,
right? They're interviewing Undertaker and guys like that now. Whew, those are fun. Anyways.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's again, I make a loose comparison to something that's like been going over in my mind the last couple of weeks as like conspiracy theories get bigger and bigger and bigger and more crazy and more crazy and more crazy. I've always said if you're looking for a conspiracy, you will find it. If you are looking for blank, you will find blank. So like if like that's the argument you're trying to make based on one guy, who again is a genius as a coach.
Certainly looks that way right now.
Certainly does. Like, maybe it's not what you're looking for it to be. And maybe it is. I don't know the answer. I think, Kyle, you made probably one of the most compelling arguments that I've heard about it, because I think so many times people just want to play the normal.
Well, real quick before you go to that,
meetings yet?
He's taken some meetings, yeah.
Okay.
And I forget if it was the Texans didn't talk to him, but the Eagles and the Lions said that he didn't interview well, which to me translates, he came to the table and said, listen, y'all are trash. I need this, this, and this. Obviously, it didn't go exactly like that. But if you're a big time candidate, damn it, I don't care what color you are. You negotiate big time and you get the terms you want. So you have the best chance to survive in a very tough job environment. Let's be clear too, by the way, because if he flounders or fails, they're going to be like, well, we hired your person of color and it didn't work. Let's do whatever we want now, right? That's there is some validity to that. And the final point I'll make is, for all those people that claim, oh, well, they should have hired him. Are you trying to say that the only way Eric Bienemy is good enough to get a job is through a handout? Now you're dissing the candidate that you're trying to back.
I totally agree with you.
And
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and my question has been like, what do they mean by doesn't interview well? Like, are they asking enough questions that they go, okay, I know that he doesn't want this job. Yeah. So like, doesn't interview well doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to fit in that position. But if you're asking certain questions and you get a tone from a person that says, I'm not leaving Kansas City, I don't want that job, because the NFL has the Rooney Rule, so that there has to be a process that teams have to go through. So, are they just using him to check off a box, and then they very quickly realize he's not leaving Kansas City. He's going to stay as the position coach there. So again, maybe he is the heir to Andy Reid.
Because if that's true, Jim, they can't say, dude didn't want to be here. How bad does that make them look?
Right.
Eric Bienemy, a guy who you use the word genius to describe, looked at this and said, fuck this shit, I'm out. Come on.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
I mean, also it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll stay at my job in Kansas City, with the best quarterback in the league.
I'm about to keep my job.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is under contract till forever. So
yeah.
Why do you
$500 million? You know
what I mean? Yeah. Why are you leaving that?
Exactly.
It's illogical.
Speaking of Mahomes, let's end the show here with a little Super Bowl preview. This Sunday, Chiefs, Bucks. The line has not moved. It's been at 3.5. Well, now what? 11, 12 days removed from Championship Sunday, and the line remains the same. The vibe I get from people right now about this game is that Tampa might win this game. Oh, God. TB12. It's funny how I'm being accused of Brady guy, and I'm rooting for the Chiefs to win this game. That's funny how you say that, Kyle.
Well, that's first of all, that's because you're a basketball analyst and there's certain key facts that you're glossing right over. But I don't know if you wanted me to go first or you're saving the celebrity to wrap it up.
No, but seriously, like the vibe I get from people is that this is the Bucks. The Bucks are going to win this game. That's the vibe I get. I'm still leaning Kansas City, but it's definitely a crapshoot, closer to a crapshoot. Tampa's full strength again, pretty much.
I know exactly why it's the vibe you get.
Why is that?
It's your deep-seated Patriot love and your Tom Brady.
No. I'm being serious here.
I am too. I think Tom Brady being a part of it is in your head. You can't speak to it. It may not even be on your frontal cortex, but it is subconsciously. Here's the problem.
I'm rooting for them.
Here's the problem, Ernest Christian.
What you looking at there?
There are solid facts that back that occurrence.
Okay.
What happened? Raise your hand if somebody can tell me something significant that happened to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, other than they won, obviously. Think health-wise.
Didn't they lose their left tackle, right?
Very good. Fisher is not going to play. He is out.
That's huge.
Well, didn't they also have was their center on the
Very good, Jim. There's a reason why the Huddle Up podcast is the most awesome one. That's not mine. Well
done.
I'm supposed to say that, Jim. You know better. Anyway, just like if you compliment me, I don't expect to be like, the student of the game is better than me, but watch my shit. I know better. Okay.
Wait. Hold my beer. Take 3 counts of best wrestling podcast on the planet.
Well, no, that's a fact.
I will give EJ credit. He puts me and my show over his own show on his own show. So I do.
My co-host in the process.
I do appreciate that.
Listen, EJ knows where the bar is set. Okay, it is what it is. I don't know that EJ's been podcasting wrestling for 18 years like I have been football, but that's a whole other thing. What I do want a punchline with is, so you're telling me a defense that carried a quarterback that threw 3 interceptions to a win in an NFC championship is going to be looking at a line that's down 2 starters. The reason this game is going to be close is because it's Patrick LeVon Mahomes II at the helm. The guy who in 2020 had one of the strangest statistical anomalies I've seen to actually improve statistically, completion-wise, on 3rd and long. Who throws a shoe? Honestly, man. Like, that's how crazy that is, okay? And listen, you see on my hat here, if you're watching on YouTube, it's 49ers. We were 3.5 quarters into being San Francisco, okay?
Is that MAGA?
Huh?
It's not MAGA?
Shut your ass. You're going to get me shot by my wife. You need to stop that fucking shit now. Bro, like that.
You like that? Come on.
San Fran 6-0.
San Fran 6-0.
Yes.
God.
San Francisco. I came up with it when the Niners should have beat the Ravens.
This is just as I wouldn't say just as, but I've had to deal, because I live in Pennsylvania, I've had to deal with one for the other thumb.
You gotta admit, mine's more creative.
It is more creative, but man, I hope if I ever see my Cowboys get number 6 that we don't have to come up with a stupid gimmick for it and we just let it speak for itself. But
really? The guy who cheers for the group that goes by America's team? Really? You're gonna do this shit?
I can't talk shit because they sign my paychecks. Their bosses sign my paychecks. Well, so I can't talk shit with the Steelers.
You and your details
own my place. So
I mean, there's worse ownership groups than the Roonies, truly.
That's true. They're great people. I met them. They're great people.
I'm sorry. I had to take that America's team shot, Jim. That's my bad.
That's fine.
I have to apologize to a celebrity, because unlike EJ, I was not tactful enough to realize where I was when I started talking shit. That's me.
The golden voice, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. So the offensive line. I can tell you whatever you want about Mike Evans or any of that on the Bucs side. I can say up, down, left, right, and center that Kelsey, if they win the game, the Chiefs, is going to be the MVP because, like Gronk used to do in that 2013 season where we said he was the MVP for a time.
Remember that? It's fun times.
Right? Yeah. Or it wasn't 13, it was 15.
14 and 15. Right, 1 and 2.
It was 15 because it was after I went to the NFLPA
meeting. 15.
I digress. 15. The same thing could occur for Travis Kelce because he's most important in blocking, short passes, and down the field because tight ends leading in receiving yards. It's a beautiful thing. But however, the rare occasions where Patrick LeVon Mahomes loses is when he's in a shootout and he makes a key mistake, and that mistake happens when he's on the run. Don't believe me? Just check that Raiders game he lost. Mm-hmm. That is the image of what I think will happen in the Super Bowl.
Don't choke.
Yeah, I mean, on Huddle Up on Tuesday, I took the Bucs to cover. I took the Bucs to win. I'm fine with both these teams. Like this is a Super Bowl that I have no issue with either team. I'm rooting for the Bucs. I've always joked. I've always said that Tom's never hurt me because the Cowboys never got deep enough into a playoff where he's been able to hurt me. Like Aaron Rodgers, he's hurt me. He's hurt me time and time and time again. But I hope that Tom Brady gets number 7 just because I love it. I love watching history. I've always said he's the best of like the generation of quarterbacks that I've watched in their prime when I've been old enough to appreciate it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember seeing him take that job, and I've seen what he's done over the last 20 years, and I've been able to appreciate it. Because like even when I was a kid, like when it was the Cowboys and 49ers in the mid 90s, I was 10. I can't appreciate that in the same way that I can as an adult, and watching what Brady's done and watching what Manning did and all of that. So like I don't hate Tom Brady. I can get why people get mad at Tom Brady. I can get why people in the AFC hate Tom Brady. I can get why people who have been burned by him in Super Bowls can hate him. But again, you look at the Chiefs, and it's a great organization. Andy Reid is such a likable coach.
Yes.
Mahomes is so much fun to watch, and it's a team that looks like it's having fun. I think Tampa wins, and I said if I'm betting over under in this game, I'm taking the under because I think it's going to be a little dangerous to try because Brady has made some mistakes this year. Like he hasn't been perfect. So I don't think you want to get into a point where you're going straight shootout. Like and always relying on the defense to have to make that one stop. Like that can be a dangerous game. If you continue to do what they've done over the last month of the regular season and through the playoffs, I think it's Tampa's game to lose, despite Kansas City looking like a clean favorite because they're defending champion. And it's hard to get back and win.
Yes.
03-04 was the last time it happened. Like it is not an easy thing. Now, if you go back over history, a lot of teams have done it. The NFL is a lot different then. In the modern NFL, that's a hard game. That's a hard thing to do. And I'm not saying Kansas City can't do it, but I like the tone and the tenor around this Tampa team. Was that what was it? There was a guy in the locker room who was like tearing up after, and they're like, "What are you crying for? We got work to do. Like, we're not done yet. Cry in 2 weeks." Like,
right?
I just, I think that it just, and they're gonna feel at home. Like, I understand. Like, I know it's not a full stadium. I know it's not all their crowd, but they're in their locker room in their house. They know how that field works. They know how that stadium looks. That's their place, and I think that's going to play a little bit into it as well.
I love how you say Brady never hurt you, and all that, and the Super Bowls. I don't know about that. I know hurting Brady. Giants fan here. I know about hurting Brady twice. I'm just
converted
saying.
Giants fan once they slapped him around a little bit. And no, Brady has never technically hurt me directly as a Niners fan. I would also sustain that the one time he would have posed a threat and maybe impact the Niners' efforts to get to a Super Bowl, Colin Kaepernick actually made a clutch-ass throw to prevent Brady from coming back, which saying Colin Kaepernick and clutch-ass throw is not a phrase you do very much, but it was there. And I'm not saying that to talk trash on him as a quarterback. That's still when he was a heavy running guy. He crushed Aaron Charles Rodgers with the run pretty often, kind of like this past team did in 2020, but or 2019 for the 2020 playoffs. But I've mentioned the tactical reasons, but EJ, you're looking me in the eye. I already know that karma, because of all the ish I talk on your show, alone is going to have Thomas Edward Beaver Brady win the Super Bowl.
You asked for it. I'm not rooting for it, although I won't be mad about it. But I mean,
celebrate with Tom after the show.
Don't tell Lauren. Don't tell Lauren.
I know why it got awkward there for a bit. You called her Tom on accident one night in a particular time that was very inconvenient.
Tommy.
What did you call me?
So you picking the Bucs to win this game too?
I just did with Beyond the Buzzer, and I'm doing it here too.
Well, I'll be the lone guy that, despite the Chiefs' O-line issues, which is definitely concerning, which is why the line hasn't moved to 4 or 5, that Patrick Mahomes will find a way to get the job done.
Now, in this way, I do agree with the line. It is going to be a single-score game, no question.
Right. Yeah, I think as far as Super Bowls go, I think there's definitely better odds that this is going to be one of the more fun ones in recent memory to watch. I think this is one of the best matchups that, when you look at the playoff field when this postseason started, I think this is one of the better matchups that we could have gotten.
I'll be honest with you. This is the first Super Bowl I'm actually excited to watch in a little bit. Probably since either Atlanta, New England, or Seattle, New England.
Neither of those I expected to be particularly exciting, and last year's I was excited for a reason different than you're implying. But here's where I'm at.
Team was there.
Exactly. I wasn't going to rub it in until you just said it, but yeah, take that, bitches.
Are you still salty with the loss? Still salty about that?
No. Why would I be salty? What happened in that game? They were up for 3.5 quarters. I appreciate that. You know what happened? Patrick LeVon Mahomes the second happened. How am I going to get mad at that?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, anyways, like as many times as Danny Thompson wants to throw punches about that, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo lost the game, I say, we didn't choke, man. Anyways.
28-3.
But I did that just for you guys. I knew you'd enjoy it.
I love it. 28-3.
As far as how exciting I think the game's going to be, it's not going to be Cardinals Steelers, okay? But it will be better than last year's Super Bowl. I think that's true.
Yeah, I'm with you there. On that note, fellas, great time again tonight.
Honor, joy, privilege, gentlemen.
Always.
So, plug away!
So I will go first because I am not the celebrity. I am just Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my work with Beyond the Buzzer Monday and Thursday nights. Actually going to be going to one night a week here pretty soon because, you know, the NFL is over and, well, my psychologist says I should only do one episode a week. What's that?
Is there a podcast for this show?
There will be a podcast for the show shortly, but probably because I need to give you Danny Thompson's number and you can harass him. We'll take care of that off there. Anyways.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem.
I know it's not. You think I'm joking with you. I'll do it.
You know the Shannon Sharp meme? Not a problem. Not a problem.
Skip. Anyways.
Skip.
You sound like Danny Thompson doing a Shannon impression right there. I like that. Anyways, speaking of Danny Thompson, Beyond the Buzzer, Monday and Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Beyond the Buzzer stream. If you're somebody who does podcasts, just use your goddamn headphones. Of course, then there's also Hilarity by Default on YouTube. Check out the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. The reason why we haven't dropped anything lately is because, frankly, Demosthenes has dealt with 3 or 4 different things blowing up at his apartment at literally the exact same time.
Like literally blowing up? Like literally? Like
his oven, yes. He tripped walking upstairs and his head went through a wall.
What?
Then don't worry, he's fine. And just various other things going wrong. I think he lost power 2 nights ago. Like, the dude has been dealing with some ish.
Yeah.
But hey, like any Greek, Demosthenes Euclid will conquer and overcome, and soon there will be more episodes of Hilarity by Default on the Hilarity by Default YouTube page. Thank you for allowing me to plug it again. EJ, well done. Of course, check out my work with A7BN Sports on the A7BN Sports Facebook page with their work on oldschool101.com. Here's a podcast for you, the Captain and Company Morning Show. They were actually at the Rolex this past weekend covering that race. So look out for that. I'd have been there too, but the Rona. Anyways, so, and then of course, check out my writings with the 3-Point Conversion, the 3pointconversion.com. That's the number 3, not the word 3. Big Jim.
You got it all? Wait, Kyle, you got it all? Did you get everything?
I gave it all to her. Anyways.
Tommy. All right. Jim.
Speaking of the number 3 and not the word 3, I host a pro wrestling show, 3 Count Thursday. That's why all the backdrop behind me is wrestling related and not sports related, and why I'm in
apologize for that
wrestling t-shirt and not a sports t-shirt or a sports shirt because I just got done with the 3 Count Thursday tonight. So you can check us out, 3countthursday.com. We actually have a new merchandise drop coming on Monday. I told EJ about it because one of the guys on the show accidentally dropped the words, "I'm a sausage guy" on the podcast. It's a soundbite that gets played every week, and now it has become a merchandise line.
Holy shit.
I'm a sausage guy.
I'm a sausage guy. It's dropping. The merchandise is dropping on our merchandise store on Monday. We have other stuff. But if you go to 3countthursday.com, all the links are there. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but you can also check out my sports talk show. It's primarily me and my brother. We sound very similar. Unfortunately, we look kind of similar. Well,
you do.
Unfortunately for people watching, I mean,
you do look alike though.
Whatever. That stash is boss, Jim. Don't apologize for that.
Well, you know, But we are at Huddle Up Podcast, Facebook and Twitter, and obviously all the shows are on all podcast platforms. There's Discussions with a Nobody. I dropped a new episode last week. I'm going to try to commit to a little bit more of those in the coming weeks. But like I said, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports. Every one of our accounts has a link tree. Everything's connected to it. There's websites. So just check us out. Appreciate it. Always fun sitting with you, gentlemen.
Fellas, it's great.
Hey, the honor, joy, privilege is mine. But at the end of the day, class dismissed.